Welcome to another episode of Pints of Interest. We have yet another hopefully delectable treat here from AleSmith. Now this particular one is AleSmith's Grand Cru. Now what's interesting about a Grand Cru, a lot of people feel or think that Grand Cru means it's going to have a vinous quality, it's a winey type beer because Grand Cru's association with wine. Now in wine, Grand Cru is basically given to a vineyard that has a high reputation. The Grand Cru, it's great growth is what it means in French. In beer, nope, has nothing to do with that. Grand Cru is basically co-opted and just means it's a very special beer that from this brand. It can be in any number of styles. So Grand Cru itself is not a particular style, it just means it's a specialty beer. So AleSmith's Grand Cru is actually a Belgian strong dark ale. It is 10%. The appropriate glass for this, Belgian strong darks can go in a number of glasses, but we found that AleSmith does great recommendations. They recommend using the tulip. That's what we're going with. The serving temperature for this is 50 degrees. You can have it a little bit colder than that as well. Belgian strong darks you can have, a little bit on the cold side even though they have a higher alcohol content. And we paid $14.95. So $15 is what we paid for the AleSmith Grand Cru here. So it pours out like a light kind of brown amber color there. A lot of carbonation going on as this is a Belgian strong dark ale. As I mentioned, they tend to be a little bit gassy, so you can see that the head on this is pretty significant. Pretty nice beer. That head is pretty mighty. Looking forward to giving this one a try. Alright, so the aroma for this bad boy is kind of standard as far as Belgian strong darks are concerned. It's a little bit raisiny, not overly sweet. It's kind of weak aroma in general.
Yeah, it's interesting. I get almost a little bit of a soapy medicinal
a little soapy
hint over it as well. I mean, the fruit's underlying.
Maybe a little less sweet, a little less malty with that darker fruit, a little less plum, a little bit more towards the lighter side of things on that citrus side. Not a bad aroma, definitely not a turnoff.
No, right. Like you said, you can definitely tell what it is that you're going to be having based on the aroma.
Yeah, Belgian strong dark.
Yep.
It's got a Belgian yeastiness to it, I think.
Sure.
And it does have that gassy quality that I mentioned that other Belgians have. Now, I don't think it overly indulges in that the carbonation. It makes it a little bit more of a creamier, heavier mouthfeel to something that could be slightly thin, even for 10%. It doesn't have that nice heavy richness, I think, to it. But that citrusy quality really stays with you. Like I'm like, wow, this is tangy.
The way it takes those dark fruits like a raisin or a date, but brightens them, is something that I'm not used to in a dark Belgian, and I really appreciate. As acidic nature, there's almost a sour to the end, but not so much as a sour ale. It's such a clean finish from it.
Based on the aroma, you think you're going to get like any other Belgian dark. But as soon as you taste it, the fruit is there, but again, it's not punch you in the face with dark fruit. There's the citrus that you mentioned.
You get the dark fruit
so much bright.
And everything else it's very subtle in the way that it does it.
There's an interesting sweetness to it too that I think hits you right after the very beginning. The first taste you get, it's this nice, like really bubbly, mouthful of bubbles, kind of carbonation, and then the citrus, and then there's this sugar that's there, but it's not an overly sweet sugar. It feels like a really clean. It's like the difference between an artificial sugar and a regular. Like, say you have Diet Mountain Dew and the cane sugar Mountain Dew. The Diet Mountain Dew has a bit of like an artificial. It's okay, but it's more of a salty kind of sweetness to it. And then the cane sugar one has this kind of clear, crisp, like you're almost feeling the sugar crystals and stuff as you're drinking it, but it's not overly sweet because it's real sugar kind of thing. It's not this enhanced
it's got that
ultra sugar
to it. Yeah,
that's what that little note is. That whole rambling bullshit is about describing that one little part of
that
the taste.
Elevates it beyond
that
the dark
elevates it a little bit more, and then the nice kind of like citrusy bright flare on the end, so it doesn't let it die in bubbles. Alright, so we've given the Grand Cru from AleSmith a try. You might have an idea on how we're going to side on this, but we're going to do it anyway. Ryan, how do you feel about the AleSmith Grand Cru?
As we've already kind of said, once again, this is one of those things that AleSmith just took a little tweak on a genre we knew and made it better. I would definitely call this highly recommended in the Belgian strong dark ale genre, just because of what they've been able to do with taking what would be a dark, heavy fruit beer and brightening it and making it something that you don't get palate fatigue on. A strong dark Belgian ale purist might not like the change they made, but we do.
How do I? Yeah, same thing. Just a great Belgian strong dark ale. I think I can easily say it's my favorite. I'm not a big fan of the genre, so probably if this is something that you're going to have, if there's someone else who really looks at the nuances of things and really, really appreciates this particular style, I'd go with like their opinion over ours any day. But for someone that's not really into it, just because I find it boring, this is awesome. Does something different. Does something delicious.
I agree as well. I'm going to go highly recommend it as well. It's phenomenal. I think over these two, I prefer Belgian Darks as a style. This one, I believe, is going to be my favorite. I mean, granted, from the American side, now, there are some, and no, it might probably be my favorite because there are some Belgian ones that really punch you in the face with the alcohol and really punch you in the face with the dark fruits and stuff. Yes,
dark notes and the gassiness. Like this does carbonation, but it does it right. It isn't just like shitting in your mouth with bubbles.
No.
It's not filling that way.
The aroma is great. When you taste it, it's completely. We've already mentioned it. Completely doesn't even. You think you're going to get something boring, traditional Belgian dark. You get something completely different. It's great. AleSmith has done it again.
Boom! There you have it. AleSmith has done it again. We also checked this out in a bunch of different glasses because really Grand Cru, and then it's Belgian strong dark. You can kind of do a bunch of different glasses for this. So we tried this also in a pint glass and a snifter. From our experience, you're gonna want to stick with the tulip. On this, it's going to give you the best experience. Pint, not that far off. Actually, pretty good representation of it. Doesn't really change the aroma too much. The aroma is just a little weaker. Taste is basically the same. You still get that nice sweet note in there, and the carbonation, that bit of bright citrus, and a little bit of the appley quality that's in that. It makes this a really nice beer. The snifter kind of just mucks that all up and really takes away that sweet note.
Right, and the snifter I noticed seems to really amp up the carbonation.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit more of a bubbly.
Yeah, it's a bigger surface area, so that makes sense.
All right, so I think it's pretty clear how we feel about this one. Not much else to do but drink the awesomeness that is left for us and revel in the grandness that is AleSmith. So for AleSmith's Grand Cru and Pints of Interest,
cheers.
Absolutely cheers. For more beer reviews and episodes, you can go to pintsofinterest.net, on Facebook at facebook.com/pintsofinterest. You can also follow us on Twitter at Pints of Interest for 140 character beer reviews.